ओम सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. With God's grace, we have started the study of Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master, which is an English translation of the original in Bengali Sri Ramakrishna Leelaprasanga by revered Swami Saradananda ji Maharaj. And that is the greatest scripture and the scripture of scriptures that we have already seen. We have already seen that when Jagadananda Swamiji asked Saradananda Swamiji about his spiritual experiences, he replied that if you have read my Leelaprasanga, I have not written anything there which I have not experienced. And we have also seen that the process of writing was preparing everything ready for writing, including the holder, pen and nib, and then meditating for 40 minutes in the least or 2.5 hours in the most. And then after fully visualizing the picture, experiencing those states, then only used to start writing. So we have seen that this is a great boon to mankind. And Saradananda Swamiji telling that the purpose of his writing was so that all the sadhakas of all the denominations in the world should see light in their spiritual path. So we shall find our own light, and with this we started to read Swami Saradananda's preface, the preface by the author. And there, in the first paragraph, we found that the English translation has gone wrong in one place. That we'll read it again. This is the third part. We have seen a modified. This is the third part of Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master. The events of the Master's life from the time of his sadhanas to the time he became well known to the public have been in the main recorded here. We have not merely recorded the events and activities of the Master at that time, but have also discussed as far as possible the mental modes or the mental attitude that prompted and the purpose that guided these actions. For the history of the life of a man who is an aggregate of body and mind cannot be had only from a detailed study of his insentient body and its activities. When writing a biography or a history, the materialistic quest exhibits its ability mainly in recording events, while the spiritualistic Hindu applies his mind to a careful depiction of the mental functions only. It is our conviction that a true biography or history should be a combination of both, and that the actions of the unconscious body should be recorded with a view to unfolding the history of the mind. We have seen that some actions of his might have been like ours, but when discussing the mental attitudes, he found that all are not like that. Moreover, we have discussed the extraordinary life of Sri, because extraordinary life of Sri Ramakrishna in the light of the scriptures in many places. So it was necessary to tally with the Rishi's experiences of the supersensuous experiences. And then some could not be matched there also. For that he had to go to the group of avatars. We have been led to, we have gone there. We have been led to study the unique functioning of his mind. There he says extraordinary, here he says unique. Function of his mind, his experiences and activities in comparison with those of great souls like Krishna, Buddha, Shankara and Chaitanya of India and Jesus and others of other countries, because we should add here, the Master said to us in unambiguous language again and again that the one who in the past became Rama and Krishna is showing his own body in this sheath now, and that the spiritual experiences of this, meaning himself, have gone beyond those recorded in the Vedas and Vedanta. So it becomes unique, and that also we have seen yesterday on the previous class. As a matter of fact, in discussing impartially as far as possible the life of Sri Ramakrishna established in Bhavamukh, we have seen that the Bhavamukh is the source of anything positive in this world. Whether it is gross, which we can see, feel, touch, or subtle, which only the yogis can see, feel, touch, but both of these are called bhavas, or the mental moods behind that, all they are called bhavas. Bhava is the positive existence, whether the mental idea or subtler experiences or objects of our common experiences, all that is called bhav. And mukha means the source from which all these are born. So that is what we normally call Ishvara. That means on one side, if he wishes, Nirvikal Samadhi is just like that available to him. On the other side, he comes down to level of a sadhaka and lifts him up and goes back to his original state. So that is a steady or permanent state, is that Ishvara consciousness. The world is yet to be born. If the source from where the world will be born, all gods and goddesses will be born, we will be born, the walls and mountains and rivers will be born. So that state is a permanent state. As a matter of fact, in discussing impartially as far as possible the life of Sri Ramakrishna established in Bhavamukh, we have been constrained to confess that such an uncommon life in the spiritual world was never seen before. This also we saw yesterday, that neither Vivekananda nor Saradananda claiming that such a life cannot come, that these statements come from a narrow fanatic mind. But fact is that up till now no such life has come. So that is, they are constrained to confess that such an uncommon life in the spiritual world was never seen before. Next point is, again, when we discuss the full implication of the new truth, namely, as many faiths, so many paths, discovered and proclaimed by him, discovered, because the truth is eternal, but he has discovered it for the benefit of mankind. When he reached perfection in a remarkably short time in all the spiritual practices according to the faith preached by previous incarnations, we are inevitably led to accept him as the summation and consummation of all the incarnations who have gone before. Summation, because everything told by them he has practiced and he has realized the ultimate truth by that. And consummation, because if they have stopped in their realization at some point, he has gone beyond that also. the more we have discussed the unprecedented holy life of Sri Ramakrishna, the greater has grown our conviction that he is the unique product of the universal and eternal spiritual ideas of the Vedas. Because Vedas are eternal and the spiritual ideas are scattered in the Vedas, and that is the universality of the Vedas, that it gives so many ideas to so many people according to their need, according to their adhikar, and it is eternal. Spiritual ideas of the Vedas, unique product, the totality of their essence. Up till this we have seen, and the next para also we had started, but we shall now start it again. I told that here a new para starts. Even the revered Swami Vivekananda, here the Bengali is very important point. Sri Ramakrishna Padashrita Pujyapat Swami Vivekananda. That is a very important point. We, his followers, or even today in the Ramakrishna mission, we forget it. And we see Swami Vivekananda is something new. But Saradananda Swami, who knows Sri Ramakrishna best and who knows Vivekananda best and who knows their relations best, he is telling this. Sri Ramakrishna Padashrita Pujyapat Swami Vivekananda. Pujyapat, there is no doubt. But how? Everything he has learned from Sri Ramakrishna. He has not discovered anything new of his. He himself has said, I am a voice without a form. And the ideas which I gathered from him, a few of them I tried to translate in the practice. You understand? So, he is something original, something new. That is what we are going on proclaiming in the world. So, this point should never be missed. This is not belittling Swami Vivekananda. This is putting him in the right pedestal. Otherwise, like Ramakrishna is telling, Swami Vivekananda has created something new. So, very important point. That is what Saradananda Swami is declaring. What is Swami Vivekananda? Sri Ramakrishna Padashrita Pujyapat. Swami Vivekananda धर्म प्रचारेर पर होते श्री रामकृष्ण जीवन कथा जानिबार जन्य साधारण आग्रह देखे. I wanted that word only. You go back to English. So in English also we have to put like that. Where will you put that? You will have to put it after the name. When the revered Swami Vivekananda, who had the full support of Sri Ramakrishna's feet or Sri Ramakrishna's grace. Revered Swami Vivekananda, who had fully received Sri Ramakrishna's grace, from him we are listening, had preached Sri Ramakrishna's ideas, not his ideas. Swami Vivekananda also has said, Sri Ramakrishna lived the life he left me to explain. So ideas which he has seen in Sri Ramakrishna, learned from him, he has put in a beautiful language so that the whole universe can understand. But, and the public became eager to know the facts of his life. Swami Vivekananda has not directly talked about Sri Ramakrishna except in 2 lectures. Today we see a lecture, My Master, that is a combination of 2 lectures, one given in New York and one at London. And the editors of complete works have combined them and put before us. There only he has talked in detail about Sri Ramakrishna. So, people became eager to know the facts of his life. Remember this language. Swami Vivekananda preached Sri Ramakrishna's ideas. So people become eager to know what life he led from which these ideas have come. Understood this point? See, each word of a rishi is very important. When the revered Swami Vivekananda, who had fully received the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, had preached Sri Ramakrishna's ideas, and the public became eager to know the facts of his life, many people published many accounts of him, but none of them pointed out clearly the hidden relation, because that is not seen on the surface. When you go deep, then only you can see that. The hidden relation that existed between that unique life and the Vedic or eternal religion. Vedic or eternal, because Vedic religion is only discoveries, the religion is eternal. Consequently, from a study of these books, an impression has grown in the mind of people that Sri Ramakrishna was a man cut off from the tradition of the eternal Hindu religion. Eternal Hindu. I explained the word Hindu yesterday. And has left behind him a particular sectarian doctrine of his creation. I told that incident yesterday. In Goa, one Hindu man asked me, has the Ramakrishna mission, he is not talking about Thakur, about the mission, has the Ramakrishna mission not gone little astray from the central flow of Hinduism? And I had to reply to him that Ramakrishna mission is expressing the central theme of Hinduism. Others have gone astray. For example, if you say Hinduism only is true, then we are going away from the Hindu religion. Hindu religion believes in absorbing. So many ideas from so many religions came, and Hinduism goes on absorbing. And if you say this is true and that is not true, that is not Hinduism. That is sectarian, or that is going away from the original trend of Hinduism. Ramakrishna mission represents the absolute flow of Hinduism in toto. Further, many of those stories contain errors regarding the life history of the master. Okay. Now here, another mistake of the preface translation. And lack appreciation? No. And other books. And when he says other books, it means that they don't contain errors. Is it not? Let me read in Bengali a little. ये समस्त ग्रंथेर अनेकगुली ठाकुरेर जीवन आख्यायिका संबंधे नाना भ्रम प्रमादपूर्ण एवं अपर गुलिते. This upper gulite has been missed. What upper gulite? वही सकल जीवन घटनार प्रकृत अर्थ एवं पूर्वापर संबंध और पारंपर्य लक्षित होय ना. And I told you, there is a clear reference to Kathamrit. Because no error in Kathamrit, absolutely no error. It is unique in that respect. And the attempt is to put objectively, chronologically, how Thakur appeared, how Thakur talked, to whom he talked. Beautiful. New thing which I have discovered recently is that every time he tells Thakur told him such a thing, he told him such a thing, to him he said like that. such details. That means everything is not for everybody. To such a man he is telling this, in front of everybody. To such a man he is telling this. That is the beauty of the gospel. But chronology, we do not get what? Purva Parasambandha or Paramparya. One more thing, Prakrita Artha. The inner meaning he has not expressed. Sometimes here and there he has reflection like that. Is it like that? Is it like that? Not more than that. That is not his duty. He has objectively presented everything. For that he was meant. And his life could be explained, his talk could be explained more by his sannyasi disciples. Because they have received not only Vivekananda, but his sannyasi disciples have received his direct grace. And they could tell what is the meaning of this. Especially Swami Saradananda, because of his analytical capacity and connectedness. Purva Apara Sambandha. That means this event or this talk is related to something of the past and is related to something of the future. That is called Purva Apara Sambandha. Every talk of Thakur, every action of Thakur is related to something past and something future. That we do not find in the Gospel. That is not the work of the Gospel. Paramparya, that means which comes after what? That is called Paramparya. Parampara, the flow, that does not come there. And this is, as I told you, my experience, anybody's experience. When we read the Gospel, I will take one example, that when Swami Vivekananda comes, our mind becomes more concentrated. And Sri Ramakrishna is talking to Swami Vivekananda. Next page there is no Vivekananda. And we do not feel how it is connected. And we go on turning pages. I am telling my own. We are going turning pages till Vivekananda comes again. Then only we get the connection. Dr. Sarkar. When Dr. Sarkar comes again, then the previous thing gets connected. Not till then. So this is not the work of Gospel, this is the work of Swami Saradananda. There is not putting one low and another higher. Without Gospel, Saradananda could not have written. Many times he has said and taken verbatim from the Gospel. But this is the thing. Understand this point? So Leela Prasanga is important, as in the first para he has told, na? That the inner meaning has to come out. And the inner meaning comes with the development. I give an example. When the Gopalarma comes, Agurmani Devi, he starts from her birth and describes till her end. After Thakur's passing away, many things. And then he takes the other topic. That is his method. So our mind moves in a connected way. Anything we have to comprehend, we have to see the cause. That is, in Vedanta it is told, you know, how to judge a thing. Find its cause, see its nature and see its result. In this way only you can understand a thing. And that is what Swami Saradananda has done. If this is we see action, something has happened before and that has caused this action. And we must see that. Then we will get connected. And this will result something in future. So our life is built upon a connectivity. And that connectivity, so many aspects of Thakur, but everywhere that connectivity has to be seen. And that is one of his specialities. some others. We can add here. Many of the stories contain errors regarding the life history of the Master, and some other books lack appreciation of the real import of the events of his life and their relation with events before and after. So this is not about all books, this is about some books where errors are not there. In order to meet to a certain extent that demand of the public. The public wants to know this. So that demand of the public, one is correct depiction and second is connectivity. We have following in the footsteps of Swami Vivekananda, and that we shall see. So Vivekananda could understand him best, and through his understanding all the disciples understood. And so, but Vivekananda could not describe. The reason is that if he thought of Thakur, he would merge in Samadhi. That is the main reason. And that is why when Girish Babu and Brahman Swami asked him, he said, I cannot write. Then he said, who can write? Then he said, Sharat will write. So, he could understand Thakur best. He expressed all the ideas to people, but in going into detail of Thakur, he would lose himself totally. Saradananda Swami, on the other hand, is known to be the, what Swami Vivekananda called, that jellyfish, absolutely cool. We cannot find a man in this world cooler than him. I told you one incident that some brahmacharis of Belur Math told me that when somebody read Leelaprasanga for the first time, one bank officer, he said, Asambhav, Asambhav. Impossible, impossible. Impossible that such a man, Sri Ramakrishna in the man form, lived in this world of ours. And it is impossible that his own disciple can analyze him so much and present before us. Now and then you will find, now and then, before entering into details of Thakur sadhana, let us understand what was his mind at this point. Like that we will find everywhere. We cannot imitate Thakur, but we can grow as people coming out of the same mold. That is what is written. So, his mind we have to follow. No, his mind may be unique, but that we have to follow as much as possible. Actions we cannot follow every time, but the ideas expressed through those actions, that we may follow. We have to follow. So that is the demand of the public. Following in the footsteps of Swami Vivekananda, attempted in this book a description of that great noble life as it presented itself to us. Here it says us a group, leader Swami Vivekananda. Through him, leader is him, we are a group, we have understood Thakur, and that we have to express. And a little of that state of being, there, in the end it comes. And little of that state of being, the realization of a particle of which has made Swami Vivekananda and others, including ourselves, dedicate their lives to the lotus feet of the Master. I mean, we all, including Vivekananda, could not understand Sri Ramakrishna fully, that is what he says. But little we understood and we dedicated ourselves to him. Those ideals we want to depict. He has said in one place, in the Manush Bhav, there is a chapter here, that many people went to Sri Ramakrishna because of his supernatural powers. Others went to Sri Ramakrishna because of his subtler darshan of so many devatas. Still others went to him because of his nirvikalpa samadhi. And Saradananda Swamiji holds all of them to be selfish. And we have not gone to him like that. We had developed, we had cultured some ideals in our young age or life. That a man should be taggy, a man should be like this, man should love all, so many things. We had imagined some ideals in our life. And when we went to see him, we saw that if some 100% imagination is there, but in him we saw 200%, 250%. Our imagination ideas themselves fell short seeing him. And that is why then he says, now don't ask us why I attracted him. That means seeing the manifestation of ideals in him, we were attracted. And that he is presenting before us. But then he assumes that he is a man, Saradananda himself, or cannot fully understand Sri Ramakrishna, or cannot fully express what he has understood. All this objectively he expresses himself. He is not bragging, but he expresses his own limitations. Let the reader know that if even a small part of the noble ideal of the Master's life, unintelligible to ordinary life, that is true, unintelligible to ordinary life, man, compared to that they are rishis, they are understood. But if even if a small part of that has been correctly portrayed in the book, it is due to his greatness. And whatever defect or incompleteness has remained in it is due to our lack of proper understanding and expression. Two things. If we are not fully depicted, we are not understood, or we are understood but unable to express. So, due to our lack of proper understanding and expression, we intend to present to the reader a description of the first and last part of the precious life of the Master later. This is the middle part, you may say. Because he wants to present the personality of Sri Ramakrishna. We have seen through the name Sri Ramakrishna Leelaprasanga some episodes of the absolute reality Brahman when it appeared in the form of Sri Ramakrishna. So some episodes he puts with the idea that they will show light to all of them. So the personality part he wants to present. But while writing understood, he can write a little more, he can write of the beginning, he can write of the end, and that he will write later. Now before we start, we intend to prefix the verses and the aphoristic article by Swami Vivekananda, who has discussed therein the hidden relation of the eternal Vedic religion with the unfathomable life of Sri Ramakrishna abiding in Bhavamukh. You understand? Two words. Aphoristic article. Sutra. I will tell something in fun and reality. Swami Vivekananda has described what language should be, what Bengali language should be. And he has given the example of Thakur's language. And if you want to see the language which should not be, you will get this. So terse, one sentence runs through one page. In English translation, they have broken it in 2-3 paragraphs. But that is the purpose. So that is called aphorism, sutra. Now let me tell you the history of this. That is Saradananda Swamiji. Saradananda Swamiji is presenting the sutra and the bhashya is Leelaprasanga. Sutra, Swami Vivekananda's understanding of Thakur, bhashya, Leelaprasanga. That is what he says. Now, When Swami Vivekananda became popular or famous in America, then Sri Ramakrishna's birthday was to be celebrated in Dakshineshwar. The previous year they had denied the permission. But then Swami Vivekananda became famous. So Dakshineshwar people had allowed the birthday celebration to be held there. And this was known to Swamiji. So for that occasion, Swamiji wrote a small essay in Bengali. And the name of that essay was Hindu Dharma Ki. What is Hinduism? And sent it to other disciples and said, print it, publish it, and don't distribute free. If something free is there, no value is given. Keep very small value and distribute it. And that was done. Now this was included later on in complete verse of Swami Vivekananda and in Leelaprasanga. In the complete verse, name was changed. Who changed first, Saradananda Swamiji or complete verse editor, I do not know. Because what is Hinduism? And discussing Hinduism, Ramakrishna has come there. So the name was changed to Hinduism and Ramakrishna. Understand? Original name Hinduism, what is Hinduism? And when it was incorporated by Saradananda Swamiji in Leelaprasanga and by the editors of complete verse of Swamiji, this name has changed. And then Saradananda Swamiji has added something more. He has written here, understood? The verses and the aphoristic article. Swami Vivekananda has composed many stotras on Sri Ramakrishna, and one of the stotras, popular, Achandala Pratyahatarayo, the first two stanzas. Not that Gurudev, Naradev, Jaya. Achandala Pratyahatarayo, the first two stanzas have been put by Swami Saradananda there. Because that in a nutshell will tell the personality of Sri Ramakrishna. And then that aphoristic article. And that he wants to put before. And then explain it in the Leelaprasanga. When we studied it, it was not explained. My teacher said it will digress our mind. Let us go to Saradananda first. And after completion of Leelaprasanga, separate classes were taken on that. But I intend to, because the common universal readers are there, I intend to take it immediately now, first, and then go to the text, as it appears in the book. Before we start, we intend to prefix the verses and the aphoristic article by Swami Vivekananda, who has discussed therein that which is other not people understood, hidden relation of the eternal Vedic religion with the unfathomable life of Sri Ramakrishna abiding in Bhavamu. He has discussed. Now there we will find one small difficulty. We are going there today, that in the English translation, you see Bengali is translated in English, but the Sanskrit verses could have been kept and translated. So here what they have done is, they have given the translation of those Sanskrit verses. As I was telling you, in Marathi and Hindi translation, shlokas are given and the translation is given. So, we will follow the Bengali book for that purpose. And then read the translation. But those who know a little Sanskrit, it is better that we follow the Sanskrit first. Achandala pratyhatarayo yasya prema pravaha lokatitopyaha najaho lokakalyana margam त्रैलोक्यप्य प्रतिम महिमा जानकी प्राणबंधो भक्त्या ज्ञानमृतवरवपु सीतया यो हि रामः शब्दीकृत्य प्रलय कलितं वाहवोत्थम महांतम हित्वा रात्रिं प्रकृति सहजाम अंधतामिश्र मिश्राम गीतम शांतम मधुरमपि या सिंहनादम जगर्ज सोयम जाता प्रथित पुरुषो Ramakrishna Siddhani. In Bengali even, they have translated in Bengali in the footnote, in a poetic form. So, in the first stanza, who was Rama? Yohi Rama. Who was Rama? See what points he has brought. Swami Vivekananda. Rama killed Ravana and did so many things. The flow of Rama's love without obstruction has gone up to Chandala. Now here something very important will be there, I will tell you, compared to the modern people. Who are Chandala, you know? Guha, Nishadraj. That means surrounding Ayodhya kingdom, or next in the border of Ayodhya kingdom, there was the kingdom of the aboriginals, as we call them today. And their king was Guha. And how this Guha was with Vashishta, I do not understand. That means as a student had gone there, or as some worker or servant or whatever. There Rama had formed a friendship with him while living in Vashishta's house. And they were such friends, they would embrace each other. So Rama's flow of love, up to that means in the modern days, Harijan, Girijan, forget the other caste. That is not Rama's view. You understand? Up to. Not loving the downtrodden at the cost of the non-downtrodden. No. His love goes to his brothers, all the Prajajanas. You know, when Rama was Yuvaraj, Yuvaraj means not official, but the senior-most among the sons. And he started helping Dasharatha in his rulership. He first told Dasharatha, when he came back from Vashishta after learning, he told Dasharatha, I want to go and meet all the Prajajanas and their representatives. And they were wonderstruck. King is coming, prince is coming, prince is coming. And he saluted the elders. He embraced his equals. He blessed his juniors, mixing with the Praja. That was Rama. And then when he was going to the forest, Nishadraj, they embraced each other, and Nishadraj made every arrangement for Rama's passing. That is Rama's person. Now this we want to see in Thakur. That is why Swami Vivekananda is quoting that. In Thakur is showing the personality of Rama and the teachings of Krishna. So the first thing, personality of Rama, he wants to show this. Achandala, up to Chandala, apratihata unobstructed flow, yasya prema pravaha, the flow of his love. Then, second line, lokatito api aha na jaho lok kalyana margam. His mind is beyond the world. Lokatita. Rama's mind is beyond this world. But he acted in such a way which will be beneficial to the people. By his own example. Loka kalyana margam na tyajo. I generally like to read this line in reverse. Though he was following Loka Kalyana Marga, he was Lokatita. He was Lokatita always. But he did not sit like a rishi in samadhi. He mixed with people, showed in his life the ideals which they could follow, to the extent that even today, when we talk of ideals, we show Rama. And Swamiji has said in one place, Sita's name also is coming here, that if Sanskrit language is lost, if 5 Indians speaking in their village language are left behind, they will talk of Sita. That is what Swamiji says. So such ideals which are above us, but we have to follow them. So the second line says, though transcendent in his Lokatita means transcendent. Lokatita, his personality is Lokatita, his ideas are Lokatita, his consciousness is Lokatita. But he had not given up the Loka Kalyana Marga. That path by which there will be, people will be benefited, where people will reach their goal of life by seeing him, by following him. In that other essay, Modern Hinduism, Adhunik Bharat is there, na? Last passage, we quote and shout and Bharat bhuliyo na, tumhara adarsha Sita damayanti Savitri. So, that's Sita. Lokatito api na jaho loka kalyana margam Trilokya api apratima mahima. Rama's greatness, incomparable in the 3 worlds, not only on the earth. Whether Patala or earth or Sarga, his mahima, the greatness, apratima, no equal to that. Janaki prana bandho. Bandhu. Bandhu is again an untranslatable word. Bandhu is not brother. Huh? In Bengali this word is commonly used. It is Sanskrit word. Bandhu. What we will say? We got that word yesterday somewhere. Companion of the heart. Prana Bandhu. Prana means heart. Prana Bandhu, the companion of Sita's heart. Bhaktya jnanam mritavara bapu Sitaya yogi Rama. No, Rama's life does not show jnana, shows bhakti more. But that is the covering. He has covered his knowledge by bhakti. Rama has covered his knowledge by bhakti. Physically, Sita has covered Rama. Sitaya yohi Rama. Bhaktya jnanam vrita varavapu. Varavapu means Shrestha body. Vrita means covered. By Sita, that Rama which is covered by Sita, like bhakti covering jnana, that Rama. That who was born as that Rama, Yohi Rama, he is born again as Sri Ramakrishna. So these are the points of Rama's life which Swami Vivekananda has seen in Sri Ramakrishna. About Sri Ramakrishna, Swami often used to say that inside it is knowledge. In that continuation of that sutra is there, na? Advaya tattva samahita chittam Purojvala bhakti pata vrutta vrittam. karma kalevaram adbhuta cheshtam. So, advaitattva samahita chittam, but showing bhakti outside. That is in Rama. That he has seen in Sri Ramakrishna. And then we come to Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna's Gita is described here. Universal book. What was the occasion? There was war. And the war is tumultuous. The sounds produced in that war are terrible. And all that were quieted by Krishna telling Gita. Imagine, the war is about to take place. Bhishma, you know the beginning of Gita, Duryodhana seeing Pandava's army in a particular formation done by Drishtadyumna, he was expert in that. He went to his teacher, Dronacharya, and told him, see this. And he described the Pandava's army and his own army. And Bhishma, in the hearing of Bhishma. So Bhishma understood that Duryodhana is little depressed or anxious, worried. So, to produce happiness in him, you are chanting every day. Tasya sanjanayana harsham kuru vruddhapit. He forgot the rules of war. The greatest warrior Bhishma. He blew the shankha. That means though they had decided to war, they became the aggressors. He declared war. Singanadam Vinadya Uchai. They used to roar like the lion. Having roared like the lion, he blew his conch. Now what happened? The Kauravas are principle-less. They are eager for war. So immediately, Sahasa eva, all the people who had whatever instrument, they started sounding that. Conches and bheris and drums and everything in Kauravas Paksha. So it became tremendous. Then Krishna accepted the challenge on behalf of Pandavas. Next to him, Arjuna blew his shankar. Next to him, Bhima. Bhima was supposed to be the captain. Bhima, their arrangement was such that Bhima is the captain, but Arjuna is the super captain and Krishna is his guide. Then Yudhishthira Raja. Then Nakul and Sahadev. Then all the kings in order, one after the other, names are given. So the effect of that was terrible, more than what the Kauravas could produce. But all this is simply sound. And then Krishna is telling the Gita. That is the background. When starts telling the Gita, there is no sound elsewhere. Sabdi krutya pralaya kalitam vahavottham mahantam. Vahav means war. In the war, pralaya like sound is coming. Mahantam, big sound. He quieted that. Another thing, that is sound. Another thing, andhakar, ajnana andhakar in Arjuna's mind. And in everybody's mind, andhakar. Hitva ratrim, prakriti sahajam, natural to man. It is natural, this ajnana. Andhatamisra mishram, black darkness, blind darkness. The ajnana andhakar is like blind darkness. Hitva, he destroyed that, ratri. By what? Geetam, Shantam, peaceful Singanadam. That means peaceful but emphatic, like the roar of the lion. This is how Swamiji is describing the Gita. And such he finds in Sri Ramakrishna. When people are filled with problems and commotion, when Sri Ramakrishna talks, all will be quieted, and in very sweet words but very emphatic words he would teach. Gitam Shantam Maduram, sweet, happy. Here Singanadam Jagarja, but like the roar of the lion, emphatic. Emphatic, quieting all their noises, but sweet, peaceful, and like a roar of a lion. Who did? So he is not naming Krishna here at all. We understand that. In the first stanza, Rama, because the personality is presented. In the second 3 lines of the second stanza, Krishna, the teacher of mankind, is presented. And this war is war in our life. In our life, this Pandav-Kaurav war is continuously going on between the good thoughts of our mind and the bad thoughts of our mind. And good thoughts are few, bad thoughts are more. And that quarrel is always going on. And Thakur will help us to quiet that. Thakur will take us beyond this darkness in a very sweet manner, in a very emphatic manner. Soyam jata prathita purusha. Prathita means famous. Purusha. What is this Purusha? Ishwar. Why Ishwar is called Purusha? Purushayanat Purnatvatva. He lives in this town of body. He lives in the town of the whole world. And he is full in itself. He is perfect in himself. Purushayanat Purnatvatva. So Ishwar is called Purusha. Prathita Purusha, famous person. That famous person means God, who was born as Rama, who came as Krishna to teach mankind. Idanim Ramakrishna. In this age before us, he is in the form of Ram. We have seen this Ram and Krishna in this paras also. So, this is the 2 shlokas. We can read the translation if we like. The one born as Rama of incomparable greatness in all the 3 worlds, the very life of Janaka's daughter, who though himself beyond the world, lo, did not give up doing good to it, that ahaha is translated as lo, the current of whose love flowed ever unchecked down even to a Chandala, the clauses get reversed, and whose body of supreme knowledge was enveloped by devotion in the form of Sita. The one born as Krishna, the name is provided here, who sang the song, the Gita, sweet and tranquil, yet deep as the roar of a lion, suppressing the great cataclysmic, means pralaya, tumult, raised in the battlefield and destroying the innate profound darkness of ignorance. That ever-renowned divine personality is now born as Ramakrishna. So, today we have studied the remaining part of the preface, and as Swami Saradananda said, this aphoristic article, before that the 2 shlokas. That article we shall take up from tomorrow. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakastvam Sarvadharma Swarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha.